We're back in Nove Mesto for the final race of the Biathlon World Championships, and hoping that this is going to be the climax that the 27,000 fans in the stadium are all hoping for as well. A Czech medal would be a sensation, but everyone interested in the battle between the two greats of biathlon at the moment, Emil Hegle Svensson of Norway and of course Martin Fourcade, the world #1 from France. They are the hot favourites, but there's one more place on the podium should they both perform to expectations. But it doesn't always go your way when you've had such a hard week, and of course they've each had 5 races so far.
Massenstart ist natürlich dann bei der WM was Besonderes, weil es der letzte Wettkampf ist.
Well, here's Mickey Grice just saying the mass start is something a little bit special. It's always the last race of the championships. Everyone has a look at the previous races and tries to work out exactly who's going to win. And he says, as the last race, it's very tactical. Everyone has to control their effort to a certain extent with 5 difficult laps to complete. But the first 2 shoots could prove very decisive indeed. He said in the men's race there are 2 giants, Svensson and Fourcade. Says they've dominated the World Championships so far, but as we were saying, it's pretty difficult to keep your form going all the way through to the end. And you have to keep an eye on the Russians. They've got a really good team. They haven't had any results so far, just 1 bronze medal to their name. And there's no doubt that they will attack. And Mickey Grice thinks that Anton Shapulin is going to be the man to shine for the Russian team today. We'll see. We will see. There's a huge amount of pressure on Shapulin and the rest of the Russians. And when you get that sort of pressure, well, it tends to result in mistakes in the shooting.
We have seen that, Patrick, over many years, that pressure, that added pressure. And you need to be relaxed on the rifles. You need to try and have some kind of relaxation in your mind. But maybe it's the same for everyone. Svensson and, of course, Fourcade want that extra gold medal as well, so they're feeling the same pressure.
Yeah, Fourcade going for his 6th medal, Svensson going for his 5th gold. Welcome back to Nove Mesto. There are the conditions for the final race. For the first time, it has got to 0. We've been sub-0 all the way through. No wind to speak of, nothing significant, and certainly not enough to give the athletes too many problems. I think weather-wise, the most stable World Championships we've ever had. Here's the course for the men's race. Remember, it's over 15 kilometres, so 5 times round the 3-kilometre loop. And where the marker is now, that's where the descending starts. But then, Mike, they do have that long climb up towards the range.
Once round this 3-kilometre track, Patrick, is tiring enough. As you said, 5 times. They're exhausted already. That's the feeling I'm getting from talking to some of the athletes. But it is the same for everyone. It's the best 30 starting at the same time.
Hugberg and Andersson from the Swedish women's team, they've turned up to watch today's race. There's a lot of expectation out there. Emil Hegle Svensson also on hand.
World Championships, I think it's one of the key factors to the Norwegian success is our skis. When the other nations have trouble with their equipment, we have had very good all the way. So I think it's one of our secrets is this World Championships.
Well, it's no longer a secret, but I think you can only agree with him, Mike. We've seen the Russians suffering in the women's relay in particular, and the German men and women suffering in the mixed relay and throughout the early part of the championships. A massive investment from the big nations in their waxing, and for Norway certainly it seems as though it's paid off.
I think that was very honest of Emil Hegle to talk about that. That aspect is huge, and the Norwegians have for so many years been the team that always get it right.
Well, there are the start times. They're all going off together. That's why it's called the mass start, but only the top 30 in the world. They've got today's start list just as with the women's, the medalists from the championships plus the rest of the top 15 in the World Cup standings, and then it's on how many points you've gained in the World Cup here in Nove Mesto. So it's the form athletes who race today. Well, certainly one of the 4 men is Martin Fourcade, and what a fantastic relay he had yesterday. Here he is saying he thought it was possible to make the podium yesterday, and he was thinking in terms of the bronze medal. He said he found some energy. He knew his legs could do it, so he decided he'd have a crack at the silver. He says, but mainly here it's all about mental energy. The physical energy is long gone. So it's all in the head, says Martin Fourcade. He says it's going to be another fantastic fight, the final race, talking about today's race, and he knows that he's going to be up against Emil Hegler Svensson. But I think those two would be foolish to think that it is just about them. The Russians we've mentioned, under-rewarded for some great racing. They have a strong team, all four of their men in the top 10 of the World Cup rankings. Don't forget the likes of Jakub Fak, who's lightning quick, and Morovec, who produced the fastest time in the pursuit. They're all capable of winning this one because, as we mentioned in the women's, the shooting penalty, or the penalty for a missed target, is that much less than it is in any other race, so you can afford to go for it. "27,000 people have crammed into the stadium for the final event here in Nove Mesto. It's the men's mass start. Let's hope it's the climax that every single one of the fans have been expecting. Well, there they go. 3 rows of athletes, the favoured ones in the front. The top seeds get out first. Jakub Fak has started very well for Slovenia, and down goes, don't tell me that's Shapulin who's gone down. I think actually it's Yevgeny Garanichev, who had a disaster yesterday in the relay, so his fortunes have gone from bad to worse. Svensson caught up in, or is that Tarjei Bø? I think it's Tarjei Bø at the back of the field.
Bø was getting caught up there with his teammate Bjørn Dalen. Garanichev has stayed down a long time. Was he hurt? It was with his teammate that he got tangled. Not hurt, just the spirit.
Yeah, memories of Frode Estel going down in the cross-country, I think it was Olympic Games, was it, where things happened? I think may have hurt his wrist, may have twisted his wrist in that little incident. We'll try and pick up on Garanichev later. No surprise to see Svensson out front, wearing bib number 1, leading the way, looking for gold number 5 today. He won, or played a part in the mixed relay. He won the sprint, he won the pursuit, he missed the individual, decided not to race in the individual, and that could be a factor today. But he did race in the relay and took Norway to gold on the last leg. But compared to Fourcade, Mike, he's had an easy ride over the last 4 days.
He has. When you take the 20-kilometre out of the equation, it's a huge difference in terms of recovery. And well, Svensson didn't have to push quite as hard in the relay either when you compare that to Fourcade. I love the way that Bjørn Dalen took the hill here way out on the left and passed about 10 people in the process. I think, is that Garanichev at the back, so he is all right.
He's there. There's Andrea Henkel. She's got herself a share of both of the medals that Germany have won at this championship. Germany have never gone away with less than 3. It could well happen today. Russia are the worst they've ever been. They've got 1 bronze so far. They've been so close with Zaitseva, Mike. She's had, what, 3 fourths, 2 sixths, and I think she was down in 6th again today, or was it 5th? 5th today. So she's been so close for the podium every single time, but it hasn't quite worked out for her.
I think if you look at her placings, her aggregate is pretty much up there, because normally if an athlete's getting 3rd, as we saw with the Shimarenkos, the next race they're down in 42nd. So Zaitseva has been fantastic here.
There's Benny Vega for Switzerland with the little goatee beard that he's been sporting throughout the season so far. And there are lots of problems out there. The 2 men up front, Mike, are getting too much respect. Svensson, Fourcade. If you ask the coaches who's going to win, they'll all name one or other of those 2. But if you ask the athletes, they'll say the same. I'm just getting the feeling they're all agreeing with our Russian colleague, who says the podium's very small when you can guarantee that the gold and silver have already gone.
It seems to be the psychology of it that appears to be turning that way, but I have a feeling, can you keep producing mentally the big up to hit the targets? Can you keep producing mentally and physically the determination on the track? This is the 6th day out of 11. Oh, bad one. Is that Tim Burke?
Well, it is Tim Burke who's gone down, so he's now behind Garanichev, and going with him one of the Germans. I think it might have been Eric Lesser.
I hope we see that again, Patrick, because that's quite a drop-off. I hope Tim's rifle is all right. If he's hit that fencing, it may well have knocked his sights.
Well, we'll find out for sure when it comes to the first shoot in the prone position through the tunnel, and you can see for yourselves that the speed a lot higher than it's been throughout the championship so far. That's because it's got a little bit warmer. There's a bit more moisture in the surface snow now, and so the surface is glazed, and I don't think that fall from Tim Burke is going to be the first one we see today.
It's looking tough out there when it's so tightly packed. This race has taken a different personality, Patrick. Normally the first 3Ks in the mass starts are quite pedestrian, but Svensson with the fresher legs, he didn't do the 20 kilometre, he's making them hurt out there, and I think that's a good strategy from Svensson.
Well, you know the first two. Jakob Fak is the man in yellow. Just looking, is that Tarjei Bø tucked in behind Svensson? Yes, it is. He's certainly a potential winner here today. And Norway with Svensson, Bjørndalen, Bø and Labe Lund also in the team. A last chance for Bjørndalen maybe to get a World Championship gold?
I think it is, but he's going to maybe stay on until 2016. But certainly today, Patrick, he's as relaxed as I've ever seen him before a race. He was easily talking. He feels very comfortable. That is a bad fall.
Well, there were quite a few people involved, as you can see. One of the Swedes, that could be Lindström, who's got trouble with a missing pole.
It's Hofer, in fact, the Italian.
It's Hofer of Italy. It is Hofer of Italy. Well spotted. And the Austrians also with Landertinger getting tied up. So the pace at the front, although it's fairly fast, still not avoiding the problems on the steep uphills. You always get this concertina effect when you come from a downhill to a steep uphill, and I think that was probably part of the problem.
I think going very wide on our right, his left, it was Simon Fourcade. He jumped around everybody there to get first slot into the range.
Anton Shapulin is the Russian at the front of the pack at the moment. You can just see him on the right of your screen wearing bib number 5. He took the bronze medal in the pursuit, Russia's only medal so far. Norway, I think, will be happy to see that all their men are in the leading 8. And we'll get some name checks in a moment. It's Martin Fourcade who leads the way down towards the stadium. Over the footbridge they go, and the men at the front have been in total control so far. Two mass starts so far this season. Birnbacher of Germany won the first in Pachuca, and Martin Fourcade won the second in Ruhpolding in some style. That was perhaps the race of the season so far as Fourcade is concerned, and he's really put the pace on coming in for the first shoot. What's he trying to do here, Mike?
Well, I find that very surprising. He's sprinting into the range, Patrick. It's a different strategy. He does like to settle for longer than anyone on the map, so maybe he's trying to get 3 seconds ahead of the rest of them. I'm not sure that's going to pay off.
We'll see. We'll see. I think he's probably trying to get the rest of the athletes thinking, and that certainly will have worked. Svensson didn't take the bait, and he's just settled. He'll go into lane number 1, Svensson.
At 2 kilometres, some of the athletes, Schemp as far back as 55, Bauer 53, they were involved with some falling on the track.
Now the wind, Mike, in lanes 1 through to 10 is blowing towards the athletes. And we're still missing Tim Burke, who took the fall, so he has lost some 20 seconds as a result of that. Now let's see how the shooting's going. Svensson takes a long time to get the first target down. Landertinger of Austria is the first man to clear 5. Remember, a penalty loop for a miss, no minute added. Shapulin, Fak, Fourcade, Svensson all go clear, and Tim Burke is left on lane number 3. And not the best start for the man who took the silver medal in the individual. That's really, really disappointing for Tim, but he's got a long way to go, and plenty of opportunities will come his way. Bjorn Ferry goes clear, Mike, a man who's performed well in these head-to-heads over the years.
Bjorn Ferry loves this type of racing. He so often shoots so well. 19 is a bad day for him in this style of racing. Bjørndalen, I noticed, missed 1.
Good grouping essentially from Svensson. That last one a little low right, but he'll get some tips. The Norwegians have a lot of coaches out on the course, so he'll be shown exactly where his shots have gone, and then it will be up to him whether he wants to change the sights for the second shoot. Welcome back to Nove Mesto. There is a group out front in the men's mass start. And just looking to see exactly how many men, 14 in that group, with Ole Einar Bjørndalen trying to close the gap between the second group and the leaders. Shooting results, Mike, those first 14 all going clear. Bjørndalen 1 miss. Arndt Pfeiffer went clear, but he's still dropped 22 seconds, so I suspect he might have been involved in that tangle up on the first lap.
That tangle has caught, or the falls have certainly cost the athletes involved. They've cost them an awful lot. Lucas Hoffer, who we saw without his ski pole, he's got to miss 3 targets. His rifle maybe taking an impact, and sadly for Tim Burke, he's missed 2. He's normally so much better for that at a 92% hit rate, so I just wonder if his rifle on that impact again has been affected.
Yeah, and Hoffer, who's been shooting pretty well, he's got a 90% hit rate so far here in Nove Mesto. That's the worst shoot he's had, with 3 misses. Other big names: Malishko with 1 miss, Garanichev with 1 miss.
Lindström, 21st position, 1 miss. Bernbacher as well. We thought he would, I certainly thought he'd go clear. Moravitz has gone clear. He's 11th at the moment.
So many of the big names are still there. It's Jakob Fack leading, the individual world champion from last year in Ruhpolding. Is he going to be able to add another title to his name? Of course, he's lost that individual title, but he'll be happy if he goes away with 1 medal, certainly.
These corners are tricky. You've got to have your wits about you. You have to be very, very ready to react should anything happen in front of you. And it is risky, right on the skis of another athlete, and on the S-bends especially.
Norway with Labelund and Svensson, and of course Tarjei Bø up there as well. It'd be nice to see Tarjei Bø come through, Mike. The chances of that happening, I know the Norwegians, they're delighted that they've done so well. We've had 9, we've had 10 events. They've won 8 gold medals. It's an unprecedented haul of gold, but even the Norwegian coaches saying, we want to win gold, but we want someone else to win it.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's kind of, it's not lopsided. They're delighted, and of course Svensson and Tora Berger are delighted for the team as well. But I think that the Norwegian staff would like Bjørndalen or Bø, Labelund to get on the podium as well, share the medal load.
Well, I think for the Norwegians it would be a great story if Bjørndalen came through to win a gold at 39. But for the Norwegians, I think it's more important that some of the youngsters, the Labelunds and the Tarjei Bøs, come through and claim titles. Bø has done it, of course, in Hjanti Manziski, was on very good form. Labelund, it would do him a power of good to get on the podium today.
He has had a wonderful season, Labelund, and in a sense lucky to be brought in for the 20 kilometre where he finished 7th. And he shot 0:002, so he's got that stability. This is not quite the way normally the World Championships, the race, the mass start unfolds. It's still pushing hard, it's still pushing fast at the front.
From 14 in that leading group, we have someone moving up on the outside. Mike, is that Svensson making a move again? There's Labelund in the middle of your picture. It is Svensson on the left-hand side of your screen, wanting to get right in behind Martin Fourcade. He doesn't want to let him out of his sight. Be interesting to see what Fourcade does on the entry to the range this time. His last effort did not put off Svensson in any way, shape or form.
Just looking for the first of the Germans. Well, certainly from after the shooting, of course, it was Arndt Pfeiffer, but 22 seconds down. We'll just try and get an update on that. Pfeiffer, Bernbacher and Schemp, the first of the Germans, in 14th and 15th position. Sorry, Pfeiffer in 12th, 17 seconds off. That's good.
Well, the bad news for the Russians is that Garanichev and Malishko missed early on. But the good news is that Anton Shapulin went clean on that first shoot, so he was expected to be their best performer. He's still there with a very, very good chance of adding to the bronze medal that he took in the pursuit. Russia's only medal from these championships. Tikhonov, former superstar in terms of biathlon in its very early days, will not be happy with the way things have gone for Russia so far. Now, Fourcade again breaks clear from the pack as he comes in for shoot number 2. Again in the prone position. The wind this time looks to be blowing left to right, so there are changes. They'll need to be very, very aware of that.
Moravitz, hands on the knees, just getting some recovery. We've never seen a strategy like that, Patrick, where you sprint into the range, but, well, Fourcade knows best.
I think you're absolutely right. It's buying him a few seconds of preparation time, which seems to have paid off in all the events so far in these championships.
He just likes that little extra settling time.
Just looking for Svensson's target. Svensson made a move early. Forkada. Oh, he broke the position far too early. Chapulin's gone clear, so has Bø, and Larby Lund is clear, and now the tactics must change for the world #1 who is on the chase. And time again we've seen here in Nove Mesto that chasing is brutally hard. Bjørndalen with a miss again. Beatrix, Lindström have gone clear. Good for Lindström of Sweden after that little tangle on the first lap. He seems to have settled into the race. Just looking for Svensson, Mike.
Svensson, he's just out. Of course, he missed one there. He's only 23 behind, but he's 19th position.
23 behind with one miss, and Martin Fourcade 19 behind with one miss. So the two big men are still neck and neck. Bjørndalen 33 behind. A bit more work to do now on this third lap, and this is where it's going to start to hurt.
Look at the breathing on Moravec. He's gasping for air. A couple of big breaths. It was the first shot, then just one big breaths in between each shot.
So Norway have both Larby Lund and Tarjei Bø up the front. The Czechs are celebrating because their man Ondrej Moravec has hit 2 out of 2, and he's very quick, Moravec. He's at the back of this pack at the moment. Jakub Fak's still there. He's looking dangerous, isn't he, Mike?
In fact, it's Bauer.
In fact, it's Klemen Bauer who's come through. That's not quite such good news for the Slovenians, because Bauer really struggles with the standing targets. 10 men have shot the perfect score so far in this, the final race of the Biathlon World Championships. Bjørn Ferry is still up there for Sweden in that leading group. We have Moravec of the Czech Republic, Bø of France, Legelic of Canada, who won the first World Cup of the season, or the first sprint of the season in Östersund. What a race that was. Anton Chapulin flying the Russian flag, and there will be so much pressure on him when it comes to the final shoot if he's still in contention. Landertinger is the best of the Austrians. Klemen Bauer has had a sensational race so far, but I still wouldn't put too much money on him finishing in the top 3, because he's really struggled in the standing position this season. Tarjei Bø, Lau Bailey of USA, and Henrik Larby Lund of Norway are the top 3 men coming out of the range. Things have changed a little as we come down towards the stadium for the third time.
Sorry, Patrick, the amazing thing, we're not quite half distance yet, and there's only, well, Fak is in 23rd position. He's only 39 seconds, so anything can turn around. Fak could still even win this, depending on what happens up the front, and if he hits all the targets from now on.
Absolutely. A couple of French suits in the background might be telling you that Martin Fourcade is pushing the pace. He has worked hard. He's the man in the red and yellow bib as the World Cup leader and the discipline leader.
It's great to see Legelic in there as well. He's another one of those few that have shot 10 out of 10.
Martin Fourcade's had to work hard on this loop, Mike, but he'll be delighted that he's still the last of the 4 Frenchmen. Fancy that. You would have got good odds on that. Bø, Beatrix and Simon Fourcade all ahead of him at the moment.
But the message, I think, Patrick, to the rest of the field here, including Svensson, is that even if Fourcade misses one target, he can pull that time back almost in the next 3 kilometres.
Yeah, but can he do it every time?
I don't think so.
I don't think anyone has proved that they're that strong so far at these championships. And I think the sensible people save a lot of energy for the last lap. Well, Fourcade and Svensson might be employing different tactics here.
Svensson, just his facial expressions, and normally he's such a beast of a man, he can keep pushing through discomfort, but for me he looked pretty much pained. I wonder if he is feeling a little bit of that little cold that he had. He wouldn't be starting, I don't think, if he was.
Well, the group of 8 has now grown to 12, 13, 14 back in contention, and the men at the front may pay the price of not pushing the pace, but it may go in their favour. We'll have to wait and see which way that turns out. Martin Fourcade is just slowly working his way through the group. He hasn't got a lot of space. Short, neat strides from 5th to 4th to 3rd to 2nd to 1st. He's now setting the pace. That's an extraordinary show of strength.
We've never seen anyone who's able to go from 19th to 1st in the space of 2.5 and 2 3/4 of a kilometre. I still don't feel that is a wise thing to do, but as I say, he knows best.
Yeah, he's playing games out there today, and when you're as good as he is, you can do that. Most others are just struggling. You could almost hear the sigh from the rest of the group when Forcada went in front, because they all knew they were going to have to up the work rate.
It's reminding me, Patrick, on the cross-country side of what Petter Northug does. He plays, he's so strong, he can just move around the pack with apparent ease. Unless it's just all a bit of psychology.
Shoot number 3, only 10 more targets to be hit in these World Championships, and for the 3rd time in succession, it is Martin Forcada who leads the way into the stadium, down the back front, in front of the 27,000 fans that have turned up day after day to watch the races here. This time, though, there is no burst, certainly no acceleration going around the top corner.
Martin Forcada at the front has got to be feeling that pace change and taking 21 seconds out of the rest of them in that loop.
Svensson is about 120 metres behind, just going around the corner now, and he'll be down in certainly around lanes 15, 16. I'm not sure we're going to see Svensson's target on the caption, but we'll try and let you know how he's getting on. Martin Forcada will certainly feature as he is in lane number 1, the world number 1, looking for gold number 2. 4 silvers, 1 gold to his name already. Tarjei Bø is rattling through the targets. There's a cheer for Moravits, who's gone and missed one. Forcada took his time, but he can afford to. A miss for Schapulin and Landertinger. Beatrix Bauer's had a disaster. Labi Lund has missed for the first time today, and Deris Emlier of Ukraine, who was limbering up early this morning outside our hotel, has thrown 3 wide, and surely that puts him out of contention. And Bjorn Dahlen, it's not going to be a golden finish to the 2:13 championships, Mike. Another 2 misses from the great Norwegian.
So sad to see that, but Bjorn Dahlen, I felt, was on a good one today. There's margins, and maybe after missing his 1 out of the first 5, 1 out of the second 5 prone, he's had to work there to pull his pace back.
I have a feeling that Svensson has gone clear. He has 0-1-0. Svensson's got himself back into contention. He's only 6.7 seconds off the leaders. Well, which way is this one going to go? We now have a group of 6 out front, but only 11 seconds back is Erik Lesser. Lindstrom's 14. Moravits of the Czech Republic, 18 seconds back. He needs the perfect shoot on the final visit if he's going to contend for a medal, and he's certainly quick enough to do so. Well, there you see the top 10. Tarjei Bø back in front as he was at the start of the last lap. Tactics from Martin Forcada this time round, Mike.
He's taking a breather by his amazing standards. What an incredible biathlete in 3rd place, Martin. I think he's going to be tiring, Patrick. The change of pace to increase it by 21 seconds is massive. I'm not sure he'll be going to the front this time as he did, or attacking towards the front quite so soon. But Tarjei Bø comfortable. I'm so happy to see Lowell Bailey in there. He was playing his guitar last night, very relaxed, and he's not missed a target yet.
The men who've gone clear: Tarjei Bø, 15 out of 15. Lowell Bailey, 15 out of 15. And Bjorn Ferry, 15 out of 15. Well done to them, but they still haven't managed to shake off the strength of Forcada and the determination of Björn Bakker, who would love to claim Germany's 3rd medal. He did, of course, win the mass start in Pachuca earlier on in the season, just before the Christmas break, finishing ahead of Fack and Burke and Svensson in 4th place on that occasion. Svensson still looks a little heavier than he has done so far in the championships, Mike, but he's in 5th and in with a chance.
He's there, and he's thereabouts. When you look at Bernbacker's performance, Patrick, he's running at the same pace as Martin Forcada, because he's missed 1 as well.
What about Erik Lesser? That's a fantastic comeback. He was almost a dead man in the last 200 metres of the relay yesterday, but there he is, lying in 7th place. Only 1 shot missed, 8.6 off the leaders.
And look at that, 13th position. Landertinger, he's only 1 penalty loop. It's about 22 seconds a penalty loop. So even Landertinger could win this one right now.
Malishko is going to have to rely on the top 13 missing, I think, Legelik of Canada. It's still a very very good run from Legelic. But as far as the North Americans go, it is Lowell Bailey of USA who has the best position. He's right up there in third position, having a very good run. Tim Burke, Mike, has got Andrew Henkel supporting him on the sidelines, but I don't think it's going to be medal number 2 for Tim Burke.
Just trying to find where Tim, he had such bad luck with that fall and maybe damaging his rifle.
Yeah, he missed 5 prone in all, so 50% of the prone targets missed. And I suspect he's withdrawn. And if he's damaged the sights, he might as well. Do you think that's fair enough?
I think so. You can pick up your team spare weapon, of course, but in that process, you're losing 45 seconds to a minute, and therefore you're completely out of the race. And that would be a great pity for Tim.
Eric Lesser trying to hang on to this leading group of 6. But Lowell Bailey must be getting excited. And Bjorn Ferry still looks very composed at the back of the group. He's not panicking.
Look at the skis of Lowell Bailey, though. We've talked to the wax men yesterday. They do 30 kilometres of testing on their skis. And Lowell Bailey skis, for me, looking like they're running the best in this lead group.
Well, it's very slim margins, but it's always nice to have a quick pair on your feet. Gives you a boost, means you can stop work a little earlier at the top of the hill, and it means you start work a little bit later at the start of the next uphill. Martin Fourcade, he won't be on a bad pair, though. Rossignol, certainly Rossignol's number 1.
Oh, absolutely. They look after him. He looks after them.
26.51 on the clock. That's irrelevant. What is relevant? The margins between Eric Lesser. He could do with getting into that leading group. Here come the chasers, and for the Czech Republic, Andrej Moravec, 28-year-old. It would be a sensation if he got himself on the podium, and it wouldn't be the first time, Mike, that all the leaders, all the men in the leading group make a mistake on the final shoot. That has happened so many times.
And the fight has been going now for what, over half an hour? Well, 26 minutes actually, coming up for half an hour. The race is building, the fatigue is building. The last shoot we've seen so many times at these championships is where things change so much.
A group of 7 as they come down to the range. Is anyone going to have the nerve to go ahead of Fourcade, who has claimed lane 1 on every shoot except for the first, where he had to go into lane number 2?
Where's Svensson? Well, Svensson can't be far away. In fact, of course, Svensson's in the lead group. He's third in the right-hand column.
And who's he behind? He's behind Fourcade, keeping a very close eye on the Frenchman. In fact, that's Tarjei Bø behind him, with Svensson on the right-hand side.
That's right, Svensson behind Bernbacher.
Often it's interesting, isn't it, Mike, how often men from the same country, the same team, ski with a similar style. Once Poiret had established himself as the world's best, everyone else in the French team started to ski like him. And I think the same's been in the Norwegian team.
It absolutely is. They shade each other quite closely technically, and maybe led from Bjørn Dalen over his amazing 19-20 years at the top.
Andrea Henkel and I think that was Miriam Gustner on their way back down towards the stadium to see what happens on shoot number 4. This is it, the final shoot of the World Championships. 1 gold still remaining. Germany desperate to take a gold. They have a chance with Eric Lesser.
The Fourcade brothers in there together, in the front 7. Simon doing so well today. He left the range 19 seconds behind. Well, he's actually closed that to about 10. He's not quite touching the front group.
And suddenly, Martin Fourcade has made another break going around the corner. It's an extraordinary tactic that we've not seen in the mass starts before. And the Norwegians are trying to keep pace, but I think they'll just let him go at the moment. A 3-4 second lead could be all that Fourcade needs going into the final lap. 2.5 kilometres before the final 500-metre sprint starts.
So Fourcade buys himself 3 seconds there just to spend a little more time settling on the rifle.
5 out of 5 to have a chance. Fourcade is the first to strike after his rush into the firing point. Tarjei Bø is clean at the moment. Bjørnbacher, maybe that's Germany's chance gone. Lowell Bailey has missed 1, 2. Fourcade, he throws the 5th one wide, and Tarjei Bø has got away. Svensson's there, Lesser is there, and Bjorn Ferry of Sweden is going to challenge the Norwegians on the final lap. Landertinger with 5, Beatrix. What has Landertinger got left? The Austrians have won this race before. In fact, Landertinger won it in Pyeongchang in 2009. If there was a repeat of that, that really would be a surprise. But he's going to have to outski 3 Norwegians to achieve that. Bø is there, Svensson is there.
Svensson just having a look behind him there. Where is Fourcade? He's wondering. And, well, he's got himself a little margin at the moment on Fourcade. It's 23 seconds.
23 seconds is enough. 23 seconds will not be caught. Martin Fourcade couldn't catch 15 in the last loop of the mixed relay. Surely he's not going to catch 23. And Svensson now goes for second. It's Tarjei Bø who goes for broke. He's certainly got the most energy of that group. And Tarjei Bø may be reaping the rewards of being a little better rested.
Whoa, what a race, what a race. It's still got a way to run. 3 kilometres is hell at this stage in the race. Bjorn Ferry again showing that he can hit 20 out of 20. Bø is the only other one.
Everyone, Mike, who's made a break on the first part of the climb here in Nove Mesto has paid a very heavy price later on. We've seen gains of 7-8 seconds, which are then lost on the next climb. They get to the top of this, they break to the right, and then they drop down through the woods. Here is Tarjei Bø, the man who was on such good form in Hjältemansisk 2 years ago in the World Championships.
This is Svensson's racing here for the history books. He's got 4 golds. If he can get a 5th, it would be amazing. But he's second place right now. Moravec, he's only was 7 seconds behind. And Moravec in 6th position.
Here comes Martin Fourcade at the moment. He's the 3rd Frenchman in the line. And, of course, he was looking for his 6th medal from his 6th race at these World Championships. Tora Berger achieved that this morning in the women's mass start. That jaw has dropped for Tarjei Bø. And when it drops, he accelerates. Svensson now starts to go for the charge. The gap, it's 6.5 seconds. It's still achievable for Svensson. Schipulin looking strong in 3rd place. Erik Lesser somehow is hanging on, only 7.7 behind, and if he wins this one, Mike, that would more than make up for his disappointment in the relay.
It would, and I'll tell you what, Lesser is going through something special. He's digging deeper, but I think the gap to Bø is beginning to close. Svensson is beginning to pull him back.
Well, there won't be...
Egil Kjelland there out on the track shouting him on.
They won't be too happy if Tarjei Bø gets caught by the Russians and Germans, because Svensson has brought them back together. There's still a margin of 25 metres as they start the downhill. The legs will be packed with lactate and shaking from knee to foot.
Schipulin taking that corner tentatively. As you say, the legs are shattered at the moment, and then the highest point on the course now.
Last little climb, and now Tarjei Bø can just bend the hips, fill the lungs with air. He does so early. There's an opportunity for Svensson to get another couple of metres, and he does exactly that. Good work from Svensson.
I think Svensson knows he's just the ultimate hunter. I think he knows that he's got his prey in his sights, and that's his teammate, his roommate. But it was not over yet.
It's going to be a fantastic finish. There's no doubt about that. Erik Lesser losing some 5-6 metres on the final climb, which means he's now 20-25 metres behind coming down the downhill. The ski speed is going to be absolutely crucial here, Mike. Moravec of the Czech Republic, has he got a chance?
He's beginning to fade, Patrick. He's losing another 3 seconds, but Martin Fourcade left the range 23 behind. He's now 30 behind in 10th place.
So the race essentially at the moment between these 3, but Moravec is starting to make a move, and the crowd sense it. He's some 30-40 metres behind. This is the start of the long climb before they descend towards the stadium. It's only 500 metres from the top of this climb. It's absolutely crucial that Moravec gets within 2-3 metres of Schipulin if he wants to get the Czech Republic on the podium, and he's putting in an unbelievable effort at the moment.
That's incredible. He's just, 3 seconds off Schipulin, 3 seconds off the medal. Lesser went through a bad patch, but he's finding something again.
Still, Tarjei Bø has a little bit of snow to play with. It is not a lot. There is not a lot of space. And Tarjei Bø looking for his first gold in an individual event in these championships. He, of course, played a major part in Norway's men's relay.
It's the big long climb now, Patrick, and Svensson all the time is closing it inch by inch, millimetre by millimetre.
Yeah, you have to be concerned when someone goes so hard on the first climb. Tarjei Bø now knows he's just got to survive this one climb, and at the moment the V2 is showing that he is still strong. The tempo is high. There's a lot of work coming out of the legs, so it's going to be difficult to gain on Bø at this moment. Svensson looks a little bit heavier.
He does, and Bø knows that Svensson is the fastest finisher in the world of biathlon, so he has to take the sting out of his legs on this climb. I think he's achieving it.
Well, he's doing great work. Switches to the skate one just to keep the tempo going, keep the momentum going, and up around the top climb, Anton Chapulin's going to have a crack at Emil Hegler Svensson and push Svensson down into the bronze medal position. 4 golds, remember, already for Svensson at these championships, and Morovitz is still in there with a chance, but it's looking slim now. He's got to gain some 20 meters on Chapulin and Svensson, and I don't think that's going to happen, but it will be a tremendous reception for Morovitz when he comes into the stadium.
Chapulin has done an amazing job. I'm not sure he's clear, but he's dying on his legs, but so is Svensson.
20 out of 20 for Tarjei Bø, and he has only 15 meters to ski to claim his first individual goal at the World Championships. Whoa. And you can see just how much that means to him. He says Norwegian biathlon is not just about Svensson and Berger. I am one of the greats as well. Well done. Chapulin in second, so Russia get the silver they so desperately wanted to avoid having the worst championships ever. And Svensson, he makes it 5 medals from 5 races, 4 golds, 1 bronze, and Morovitz of the Czech Republic only 3 seconds outside getting the hosts their second medal. Well, that's a shame, Mike, in many, many ways, but what a fabulous effort from Morovitz. What a shame he missed one shot on shoot number 3.
Take that shooter with that one missed target away from Morovitz, but 4th position.
I think that might be a first for the season. Simon Fulkada finishing marginally ahead of Martin Fulkada. A sprint finish between the two brothers. Well, there's Morovitz. He'll be a hero in the town tonight, and certainly in the entertainment tent just 150 metres down the road. Bjørn Bakke Mikey was in there until the last shoot, and then he went 1:0:01. Lindström 1:0:01 as well, so 2 targets missed.
And sadly for Bjørn Ferry, one of only 2 athletes, of course, Tarjei Bø got the perfect 20, but Bjørn Ferry didn't have the legs. I'm so happy for Tarjei Bø. I thought he might do it today. He's just had that look about him in the relay, the determination, and the skiing. The spark that he had in the skiing was coming back, and it's landed today when it matters most.
Lavi Lund down in 17th, and nice to see Svensson applauding Tarjei Bø. He was a newcomer when he won the overall World Cup a couple of years ago, and then he had a real downer, Mike. I think maybe racing too hard in the season that he won the overall title.
And yes, his immune system was suppressed, and he had an awful long time unwell, and this is Bø just coming back to where I think his real potential is.
Yeah, he's only ranked 30th in the World Cup standings, and that's an indication of the problems that he's had at the beginning of the season. Of course, he missed a lot of racing early on, but he's back, and he's back with vengeance. Here comes Ole-Einar Bjørndalen. Not his day today, hasn't really been his championships, but he will go home with his 50th championship medal, and it's a gold one from the men's relay, and he certainly played his part.
He absolutely did, and he helped the great start that the Norwegian relay team had.
I guess the question now is, Mike, will he be selected for Sochi and the Norwegian team in the Olympics next year?
It's a tough one, but I absolutely believe in him, and I absolutely think he will be. He's missed 6 targets today, and he's 2 minutes behind. Just maybe with relaxing a little more if he can on the rifle, he will be back. His ski speed is up there. I feel for Low Bailey, Patrick. It was 0-0-0 in contention for the gold, and then unfortunately 2 targets missed in the final stand.
Alexis Boeuf, he's had a fine championships. I think getting tired as the days have gone by. He gets 28th today, a championships where so many records have been beaten. Svensson getting his 5th medal today. Tora Berger, of course, getting her 6th this morning. Well, you don't get many finishes like this, but we've been treated over the last 10 days, haven't we, Mike? It all started with a fantastic mixed relay where France and Norway went head-to-head, and, of course, the Czech Republic coming through to claim a medal on the very opening night of the championships. The men's pursuit, the women's pursuit. 2 outstanding races. But what about this mass start?
The mass start offers so much. It offers it down to the final shoot. 8 people came in for that gold medal, 1 man at the end of the day.
Well, the championships started with Norwegian domination and it has finished in the same way. They have claimed 11 of the 33 medals on offer and 8 of those are gold. The previous best was from Germany when they claimed 6 in 1999. So Norway go to the top of the record books as you would have expected. Great to see countries like Slovenia and Italy on the podium in the women's relay. The Czech Republic, of course, in the mixed relay. And what about Tim Burke for the United States in that individual race, claiming the silver medal ahead of Freddie Lindström of Sweden. Some outstanding performances, but the names that we'll remember after these championships: Tora Berger, Emil Hegler Svensson, and of course Martin Fourcade.
But Tora Berger, the only athlete ever to win 6. We thought maybe Martin Fourcade could do that today, but not his day today.
Well, of course, we will go from the World Championships to the European Championships in Bansko, which is our next visit. But the World Cup athletes, they get 10 days off. They'll be back in action in Oslo on the 20th of February. It'll be a midday, 1 o'clock start for the races there, where the World Cup battle resumes. Martin Fourcade, comfortable lead in the men's at the moment, but he will have lost some 15 points to Emil Hegler Svensson today. And Tora Berger, a massive 280 points clear of everyone else. Surely the crystal globe is in her bag already. Anderson, the coach for the Norwegian men's team, a sensational season he's had, and he'll be delighted that Tarjei Bø has claimed the gold medal in the mass start for the men today.